Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today we are diving into SSR Mining's latest financial report, and let me tell you, it's a roller coaster. We've got mining incidents, acquisitions, and enough financial jargon to make your head spin. So buckle up. Are they striking gold or just striking out? Let's find out. If you like getting easy to understand insights into complex company documents, make sure you're subscribed. We also have a Discord community linked in the description below so you can chat with fellow company experts. SSR Mining, a company that digs for precious metals like gold and silver, just released their report for the first 3 months of 2025. In simple words, this report tells us how well the company did financially between January and March. Let's get straight to the money. Their revenue, the total amount of money they brought in, was about $316.6 million. Compare that to the same period last year where they made around $230 in 2 million Oz. That's a pretty big jump. Now here is the interesting part. SSR Mining had an operating income of roughly 66.9 million, which is a turnaround, because last year in that same period they had a massive operating loss of around 376.4 million. That good news continues when we check out the net income. They had a net income of $54.4 million. That's profit compared to a net loss of $358.2 million in the same period last year. You can see the company is really on the upswing. All of that translates to earnings per share, which is how much money the company makes for each share of stock that is out there, was $0 at 29 per share. Last year they lost 129 eyes per share. Last year they lost 122 twos per share. Keep in mind that means they are earning, not losing money per share. Now let's quickly jump to the cash flow statement to see how much actual cash the company is generating, because profit and cash are not the same thing. SSR Mining's net cash from operating activities was $84.8 million compared to just $24.8 million compared to just $24.6 million last year. More than triple the amount of cash. They also spent roughly $154.3 million on investing activities, but the most significant investment was a $108.7 million acquisition. The cash decrease in general means there isn't as much on hand. They ended the period with about $319.6 million in as much on hand. Bay ended the period with about $319.6 million as in cash compared to $467 means there isn't as much on hand. I ended the period with about $319.6 million in cash compared to $467 1 million as. Now let's talk liabilities and equity. Total liabilities and equity reached $5.6 billion, which is much higher than the $5.2 billion we saw last year. And total equity also increased, now standing at $4 billion. There are about 22 million of their common shares floating around. So what does this company even do to make this money? Well, they are in the business of finding, digging and processing precious metals. They currently have 5 different digging locations called operations in places like the United States, Turkey, Canada and Argentina. They also look for new places to dig. Now this is interesting. The report highlights the company spent a huge amount of money, $100 million in cash and potentially another $175 million Colorado, United States. It is expected to give them more size, more cash, and a more diverse set of places that they are digging from. The company is divided into 5 smaller financial divisions that can be understood as 5 independent mini companies. Most of that report discusses the money that each of them make. For example, we learned that one segment made over $100 million in operating income, while another lost over $39 million. That can be some useful information to determine what parts of the company are working or aren't. As you might imagine, a company needs to keep its board and executives happy. The company is spending roughly $230 million in stock-based compensation for their employees and executives. Of course, it wouldn't be a corporate report if they didn't warn you of problems. They mentioned that things like the price of gold dropping and world events could hurt their business. Also, they say they have to be careful with their money in different countries since exchange rates can change and inflation can make things more expensive. Remember that mine I told you that they bought? They spent almost $50 million acquiring it, paying about $108 million in cash and promising the remainder in future payments as certain regulatory milestones are achieved. If they don't get those regulatory green lights, they won't pay. One of their mines in Turkey called Kopla had a big accident last year, so they've been extra careful about safety since then. They did some checkups and turned in their reports about safety because some laws require it. There were some previous issues from a mine in Colorado with the quality of water it was discarding. They are trying to get around that by proving it is akin to pure spring water. Finally, the report states that none of their executives have been trading SSR mining stock this past quarter. That's a very important thing to state because it can be a sign if they are doing illegal things. Alright, so that was a lot of digging and we hopefully found some treasure. The most important part here seems to be they are making a financial recovery while one part of the company is temporarily shut down. The big thing is they are growing through acquisition. Now, what do I really think about SSR Mining after reading through this report? I think it's interesting to see a company bounce back from what seems like a company killing event. They had a massive mining incident and a large loss, yet they still are making good financial decisions in the long run. So I think the price is probably going to go up and this company knows what it's doing. The company is taking on debt to become bigger, so they seem to have some confidence. So like that makes the future uncertain. It could also help them go to the next level as a company also, and all things seems good. They seem to be doing very well. What do you think about SSR Mining? Let me know in the comments. If you found this breakdown useful, hit the like button and subscribe for more corporate insights. Remember to join our Discord. The link is in the description below. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.